Batman Hush Part 3 is here. The gentleman's name is silent, and his alliance with Hush might just bring Gotham's Dark Knight to his knees. The Predator is back on the hunt, and this time Spider-Man's in his crosshairs. Can he survive a showdown with the galaxy's deadliest hunter? And just in time for his Superman movie debut, Mr. Terrific's secret origin is revealed. Plus, we got the full rundown of this week's releases and some killer variant covers you need to see. It's New Comic Book Day, and we got some heavy hitters on the stands.
Yeah.
It is now time for this week's in comic books, guys. If this is the first time you're watching, thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that like button if you enjoy the content. Shane, we got a fun week this week. There's a lot of good comic books coming out. There's a lot of comic books coming out, in fact. But I'll explain to you why in a minute. But immediately, we're seeing this. We're going to get Predator versus Spider-Man Part 2. I'm so excited for reading that book. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Are you excited for this week's comic books based on what you already know is coming out?
Oh, yeah, because my favorite comic book that's being made comes out, which is Ultimate Spider-Man. So that has a new issue coming out. And plus, there's so many other good new books. This is going to be a great week for sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So let's go into the list here. We're going to start off with last week. Previously fresh, the top voted comic books according to the League of Comic Geeks. Absolute Flash number 3 was the number 1 book with 22%, followed by The Ultimate with 18%. Last issue of the New Gods, issue number, I can't even remember what issue was. I think it's issue number 5 was 8%. Superman Unlimited, the brand new book with Dan Slott doing the writing, was also at 8%. So there's a tie there. And finally, the last issue of Bug Wars was in last place with 5% of the votes. Shane, did you get a chance to read any of them?
Man, I forgot to vote in this again. I just remembered when we started. So the only one I didn't read is Absolute Flash. I only bought issue 1 of that. But, I mean, 22%, maybe I'll pick up the other 2 and try it. Mm-hmm. I was actually talking with somebody about New Gods, to go to that one first. It's really good. The newest issue was really neat because they had dual art styles in it. There was kind of like a flashback part and then the current part. And the Justice League does show up in the newest issue. So, but I was saying to my friend that you really got to read them all at once. Like I think it's much better. 30 days is too long of a gap. I kind of forget what's going on with it.
Yeah.
Superman Unlimited, I liked. It was good. I'll just say that. It was interesting to see his take on Superman. I might pick up the second issue. We'll see. Bug Wars has been amazing. I would have put that one at number 1 myself. It is such a good read. I love it.
Yeah, Bug Wars is the indie pick of the week. I will tell you that much. Sure, Dan Slott, it's one of those guys to me that he's a good writer. I'm not saying he's not a good writer. I just don't really like most of his stuff, if that means anything. You know what I mean? Like his run in Spider-Man obviously was long, but I also feel like it was part of a Spider-Man that I didn't care for, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He gave us Spider-Boy. He was part of the Brand New Day storyline. So that's when I kind of like fell off with Spider-Man because it's like, I want my Spider-Man to be with Mary Jane. And I remember I was away from comics, and when I got into Spider-Man, there was all sorts of crazy stuff like Jonah Jameson is not the mayor, and he's with like Aunt May's with somebody. And it was like, what's going on here? You know, it's just a complete, and I think, that's normal in comic books. These things happen, but it felt so distant to what I remember. It wasn't so simplistic, right? It's like all these different changes happening. So I'm not sure about how he handles Superman, but if he could, he handles Spider-Man, which is pretty much a clean-cut superhero. Superman's as clean-cut as they get, the ultimate Boy Scout. It's worth checking out. As far as New Gods goes, I've read the last 3 issues, and I'm not disappointed, but you are right. It is a lot,
Yeah.
but it's good, and that's what I liked about it.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I enjoy that part of like having to think through it. It's just one of those things that it's going to be much better read. Like I'll read the first 6 or 7 issues again when
mhm,
it's kind of done.
yeah. Right. So now that we've talked about last week, let's talk about what's coming up this week with our rundown. I gotta take a deep breath for this one because there's 105 new releases this week, but there's 472 variants, giving us a grand total of 577 new books out this week. The reason for that is because we are having Fan Expo Dallas, I believe. Um, that's a big show, so there are going to be a lot of variants for that show. As far as the new number ones, this one's even more crazy. There's 23 new number ones. From those 23 comics, there's 210 variants, giving us a total of 233 comic books. Guys, this is insanity. Right? We got 14 keys and 4 first appearances. Now, you're going to be surprised when I show you this, Shane, because you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, they got to be this. No, 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 no. Marvel and DC are killing it with the variants this week. 21 new titles for Marvel with 72 variants, 14 titles with 63 variants for DC. That's a lot.
We said it was a big week. It is.
Yeah, it is a big week. And when we go and we break it down to the indie books, you got 19 new titles for Image with 56 variants. You got 3 titles for Boom with 15 variants. IDW has 5 titles with 7 variants. Dynamite has 2 titles and 54 variants. It's Dynamite, guys. And Dark Horse has 5 titles with 5 variants. Look at the indies, however. 36 titles. 200. Yes, that's right. I said it. 200 variants. Now you could speak.
That is a lot. So I think you're 100% right. Like most of those have to be like con exclusives and
Mhm.
different issues like that for sure.
Yeah. The tidal wave fame books, there's a lot of them. So that's part of it. They're definitely con exclusive variants that's causing the uproar, especially in the indie side, because the 200 variants, dude.
Yeah.
Like my head turned when I was doing these numbers. I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. Way too much. There you have it. Let's go and talk a little bit about the comics, starting with this week's Giant Size X-Men #1. Okay, let me just say it. Is this a cheap way of trying to get sales?
Do you really want my honest opinion
I
on this?
do, I do. That's what we're here for. We are here to say how we feel and the truth.
I really am turned off by this whole giant sized run. I do think it's a complete play. I don't understand Marvel's obsession with trying to force Miss Marvel to be like the heart. She was referred to by Marvel as like the heart of the Marvel universe, like because when she died, when she was back the next month, it's just uh, no. I totally agree. I think this is a bad idea. Kind of almost, you know, not ruining, but putting some dirt on the awesomeness that is Giant Size X-Men #1, the real version.
I would agree. I think, like everything else, it's a way to get a cheap sale because that's what I call this, a cheap sale. This is oh, I'm gonna buy Giant Size X-Men #1 now. I have a copy of Giant Size X-Men. Let's be honest, you don't. Um, and it's something that's remained wholesome till now. You know what I mean? And it's just the marketing machine trying to figure out a way to make a sale. X-Men has not been performing well. Even this new run where we're going, as they wanted to say we went back to the basics, they really didn't. They kept it going, and it really irritates me to see the X-Men this way, especially because like you, I grew up reading the X-Men. That was the top selling book of that time, of the 80s and into the 90s. Everybody read X-Men. It was the number one book. Everybody bought X-Men. Everybody loved the story, the action. It was a drama, it was an action, it was adventure. It was pretty much everything that you wanted in a comic book, including the soap opera antics
Of
between
course.
Jean and Wolverine, Rogue and Gambit, all the stuff that came along with that, right? And now it's not even a little bit of what it is. It is just we're gonna jam these ideologies down your throat. I don't have a problem with that because X-Men was always kind of that in the first place, but it wasn't jammed into your throat that you had to like, this is our agenda kind of thing. It was just comics. If
Yeah.
anybody knows Chris Claremont, he knows, how political he could be, but it wasn't, it was subtle, it wasn't intense. And that's the problem that I'm seeing here. I'm seeing too much of, like you said, Miss Marvel. We gotta get in that, we gotta put Miss Marvel in it, we gotta do this, we got no, stop it, guys. Just give me pure comics the way I like them, and they're going to sell. Hopefully, we got Adam Cooper, which I'm always happy to see him drawing. I love his art. Jackson Lanzon and Colin Kelly, maybe they'll give us a good story. I'm excited for that. But it's part of 5 one-shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I did order this one because it was kind of before I knew what was going on with it. And I think the Spider-Man one actually has some key significance. So I think I ordered that one.
Mhm.
If you're going to buy this, I would watch out for that Vecchio spoiler cover because
Yeah.
there is a character in it that um, doesn't really play a part till the near the end. So it's going to probably carry on into whatever the next one is. But
Yeah.
this will most likely be their first cameo or first appearance. And if you can get that cover, that's the one I would buy.
Yeah, and it's an open order, so it was part of FOC, so
Yeah.
um they'll be in the shelves. They probably won't be there for long. All right. Our next book, going to DC now. We're gonna have Batman 160. This is the third part of the Hush storyline. We're also going to feature the gentleman named Silence. What's your take on Hush 2? How's it been so far?
I've liked it. So it's another one of those books where I think you'll enjoy it more when you can read all of them. And I
Mhm.
think the one thing that's going to hurt this book is that they're taking a pretty long break between 6 and 7. If
Mhm.
I don't know if it's those issues, but they're kind of ending it to start Batman #1 again,
Mhm.
and then picking it up as Hush, like whatever they're going to call it, part 2, #1, or whatever they're
Yeah.
doing. So I think that has a potential to hurt it. But it's Jim Lee art. You know, I like it. It's good. People are kind of saying, "Oh, it's a little more messy looking or whatever," but I don't really see that. I think it looks good. It's
Mhm.
got everything you want in a Jim Lee drawn book, I think.
Yeah, there's going to be some great covers there. So we have the Jim Lee standard, covered there with the words "Hush" all over it. There's a Frank Quatley cover that I think is really cool. The 1 in 25 Ben Oliver cover, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, Great. And there's some other covers. We'll highlight them a little later. But man, I love that cover so much. It's so gorgeous.
Yeah,
That
it's
is a
it's
beautiful
amazing.
cover. Mhm. All right. Let's take a look at our next book, and that's Predator versus Spider-Man #2. If there's a book I'm excited for, it's this one. You got the Pablo Siqueira, the Ryan Stegman 1 in 100, but there is an open order trade dress one. There's also the 1 in 25 Ed McGuinness cover, which he looks like he's fighting a Brood member. I don't know what's the deal
Yeah,
with that.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but that I read issue #1, and whew, this is not the type of Spider-Man story for your kids.
No, no. This is I'm shocked that they didn't sell this as a red band. I don't really
Should have been.
they kind of missed an opportunity there because they've been doing that. And I don't know if they felt that the sales would be restricted if they did that, probably, but it's been excellent. I love the first issue. I can't wait to read this one.
Mhm. The artwork to me is fine. It's not the worst.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'd call it meh.
yeah, it's art. But the story that they're giving us, they haven't in issue 1, spoiler, they haven't even met yet. It's
Yeah.
just that there's this serial killer who's hunting people down, and of course, Spider-Man's trying to figure out what's going on here. And now we're at a situation where Mary Jane's going to be caught in this whole thing, and that's where they're going to meet. But oh man, talking about graphic.
Yeah.
Check that out. Predator versus Spider-Man issue number 2. I'm sure you could pick up issue number 1 there as well. It's definitely worth checking out. Our next book is Mr. Terrific Year 1, number 1. This is the origin of Mr. Terrific. Also, we're going to be featuring a first appearance of Athena Prescott. It's the secret origin of Summer Breakout Hero. They got some high hopes for Mr. Terrific. So, we're going to have some covers. There's some really good covers. The Valentine Delandro, who's actually the artist of the book. You got a 1 in 25 Denny Cowan. And there's a Doc Shaner cover. There's also another one that's really good that's out there. I'm interested in seeing Mr. Terrific. I'm not 100% familiar with the character. I know a little bit about him, but I don't know much about him. So talk to me a little bit about what's your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. So when I saw this book, I think I ordered the first one, and that was the exact reasoning. Is I'm like, you know what? I want to know more about this character, and this is hopefully going to be a great book. Excuse me, especially since we're leading into the Superman movie, which he's going to be part of. So I kind of was happy this was coming out, so I can buy it and learn more.
Yeah, and he is considered one of the smartest men in the DC universe. He's in that echelon of the smartest people out there. So I'm curious to see how they're gonna take it. I know the actor that's playing him. He was in X-Men First Class, and I'm hoping
Oh
he's
yeah,
gonna have some. Yeah,
he was
I'm hoping
Darwin.
he's gonna have a good scene in this movie as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, go check it out if you want to learn a little bit about Mr. Terrific. It's now your time. Pick it up. Okay. Next book is Venom Original Sin number 1. There's a Clayton Crane cover. There's also a 1 in 25 Virgin cover, but go check out that Scott Koblish cover. I think that's a really cool cover. And it's the origin of Eddie Brock as the Illuminate. The Illuminate. Eddie Brock has become the King in Black with the power over all symbiont kinds through space and time. So I'm willing to venture this might be either out of continuity or in the past. But when I saw it, I was like, interesting.
Yeah. So he's going to go back like Eddie presently type of thing. King in Black Eddie is going to go back to kind of pre-symbiote, and that's kind of going to be the twist of the story. Is does he let himself get bonded or not? I think is where they're going to go with this.
It's worth checking out,
Yeah,
It's definitely better than all new Venom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, and our indie key of the week is coming from Mad Cave Studios, and that's The Pale Knight number 1, England 1349. Sir Hugh Del Grey, the Pale Knight, returns from war to find a land ravaged by the Black Death and his son dying of the plague. When he prays to God to save his son's life, it is not God who answers, but Death himself, and Death is willing to cut a deal. This is by Peter Milligan. That's the part that really got me a little excited. Peter Milligan's a great writer. And artist Val Rodriguez. I don't know if you heard anything about this book.
No, but this is one of those ones that when there's new independents that come in, I always flip through them and, give it the quick, is this something I'm interested in glance. And so I'll check this out on Wednesday for sure.
Yeah, Peter Milligan's he's a great writer. He's been around, so he's done stuff for Vertigo. He's done stuff for, of course, Judge Dredd, X-Force. The writer of X-Force that would eventually become Ecstatic was Peter Milligan. He's written a great Spider-Man Tangle Web with Rhino as part of the storyline. That is worth checking out. It's like Rhino becomes smart, and then he just wants to be dumb again. That's kind of the story of that. So really, really good stuff. Go check it out. If you haven't seen his stuff before, this is a good opportunity to read a good comic book. I'm looking forward to checking this out myself. I think this is going to be one worth reading.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, let's go into our variant of the week, starting with Ultimate Spider-Man 17, 1 in 100, Ivan Talavera. There's also a trade dress of it. It's just Jean Grey walking down the street.
Yeah.
That's it. Looks great, though. I'll give it that much. All right. There's also the Magic number 5, 1 in 100, the Leslie Ledricks cover. I think that's crazy looking.
Yeah, that's
Um,
amazing.
and that's Daredevil Cold Day in Hell number 2, the Gabriel Del Auto 1 in 100. Oh, that's beautiful. That's a poster.
Yeah, 100%.
That is a straight up poster. There is, for all three of them, you could get the trade dress. Those are open orders, but these are perfect as versions. This is what a version cover should look like.
Yeah.
Also, you have Predator versus Spider-Man number 2, the Giuseppe Gamacula cover. That's a pretty cool cover. Eddie Brock Carnage number 4 by the Glee, and Ivan Talavera got another 1 in 100. This one's giant size X-Men number 1. Yeah, that's picking up. That's worth picking up. Seeing Storm in that powerful cover of Storm is beautiful.
Yeah. I love how Spider-Man is covered in mud. It's a little throwback to the original movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's cool.
Exactly.
And Eddie Brock Carnage has been really good read. It's just has some really entertaining stuff in it with him talking to Carnage in his mind. The Carnage is dressed in like a suit and like a hat. It's great.
Yeah.
It's really good
Awesome.
stuff.
All right. Also, for Marvel, you have Rogue, the Savage Land number 5. There's the 1 in 100 J. Scott Campbell Virgin cover. Yeah, that's what these covers are for. The Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker adaptation issue number 5, Luke Ross cover of Kylo Ren is great. And Spider-Boy 19, Damian Scott cover with Spider-Man and Spider-Boy, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that I like that Spider-Boy cover probably the best of those three. It looks really cool. I think it's ending at issue 20 or 21 as well. So this is getting down to the last.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then we have over at DC side, you got Batman 160, the David Nakayama cover. We know how much you love David Nakayama. Also, the Lee Vermejo Super Smash cover with Batman with Superman. I like Lee Vermejo. I'm not feeling this one as much, even though I do like Lee Vermejo.
I love that one. I think it's cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah. We'll look at some more books that are coming up a little later, but also Absolute Wonder Woman number 8, the Stanford Green cover. That's a cool cover to me. I love Stanford Green style, man. It's just so gritty.
Yeah, for sure. It's very Daniel Warren Johnson-ish.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Also, Superman 26, you have the Mark Aspinall cover, which I think that's a great cover. Also, Superman 26, the Riley Rossmo cover. Since this is Superman, why not we just show everybody dressed up as Superman?
Be hard.
I like that the Flash is blue.
Yeah.
And Mark Spears has a comic with Green Lantern 23. Is Green Lantern giving me the finger?
I think he is.
I'm
Or
just
is Mark
saying.
Spears giving you the finger?
Oh, that might be a pickup book.
Could be. I might pick that one up. I don't usually buy Green Lantern, but I might buy that one just because even the look on his face, it looks like he's doing that.
He is Hal Jordan. You know, he's a bit of a bad boy.
Yeah.
And here are the eye-catching variants featuring the Summer of Superman covers. You got the Green Lantern 23 by Carl Kershaw, Flash 21. Tyler Kirkham did one. Look at that one. And Harley Quinn 51 by Gilliam March, which kind of has that Supergirl vibe to it. I noticed that they all have different logos of Superman, if you notice.
Yes. Yeah.
Which one stands out for you?
I like all of them actually, but I really like the Gilliam March and probably then the Tyler Kirkham. Those two are probably my favorite.
Yeah, they are really good, man. And then we have some really cool indie books here. Void Rivals 19, 1 in 25, Eric Cante. Retgar, man. If you watch Transformers the movie, you know this character. I love this character, man. He's one of my favorite characters. I love this cover. There's another cover featuring him as well. Also, Feral 13. Why not give us Friday the 13th homage with the Cats by Tony Fleece? And it was a holdover from last week. We're bringing it back. Gargoyles, Demona, #1. There's 101 different versions of the Mark Spears cover.
Yeah. Watch out for that Void Rivals because it's going to be the first time the Junkions are in this kind of new Transformers universe. I'm sure they appeared in the Marvel books. I'm not 100% on that.
There was an adaptation of the movie, so they had to have been in that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, but it's definitely a book I'm gonna pick up because I love them. I love those guys. Okay. And finally, these are going to be the hot ones. All right. Pinup Apocalypse #3, the 1 in 25, Saveta Shudabina. Instant. It's going to be in our list next week. I'm calling it. That one's going to be on our list.
Yeah.
In some capacity.
And I know
all the other ones have been.
Too.
They've all happened. And he also is doing a Detective Kaiju #1. This is the 1 in 25 as well. I think that one might be another one to look after. That's coming from Massive Studios. And then Mark Spears. You talked about Mark Spears. Issue #5 is coming out this week. This is the lady with the dragon tattoo. Or no, the girl with the dragon tattoo. I'm sorry, guys. The girl with the dragon tattoo. That's going to be paying an homage to that.
Yeah, great covers. I pretty much know who's going to have these books on Wednesday when we do the show. But I think I did order that Monsters one, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. There you have it, guys. Those are your fresh picks for this week. Which books are you planning to pick up? Are you planning to pick up any of these books this week? Let us know in the comments what you pick up, what you're planning to pick up. Also, by all means, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. And we'll see you at the next one. Excelsior. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more comic content. Check out these other videos for even more insight, and I'll see you at the next one. Excelsior.